right. Oops. Move my camera. I should probably plug in my microphone too. All right. Spare ribs, pork spare ribs. I've removed the back skin using a paper towel. You don't want to leave that on because you can't get any salt, any pepper, any spices, and any smoke through them. I'm going to be smoking these on my Yoder. It's a stick burner, but I always start it with charcoal. So I'm going to season these. This is the back. I start with the back, and then I flip it over. That way the top is pretty. I'm going to do like a progression where I do my salts, and then my pepper, and then any spices, like ground jalapeno or chili powder. I kind of go through that progression, and then I end it with the sweet. So I always start with salt. I'm going to start with celery salt right now. And from up high, I'm doing both at once. So light dusting. I'll leave that out because I'm going to put it on the other side. Use my regular salt. I like celery salt. If you don't have it, it has lots of great uses. It's great in a Bloody Mary too. Okay, leave that to the side. My fresh cracked pepper. And I want to be able to see it. Like the celery with the salt. How do you know that you have enough? I like to see it. In competitions, they put their spices on really, 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 really thick. And that's great because you need that one bite to come through. But this is backyard barbecue, so it doesn't have to be, so knock you over the head. I want to be able to eat all of these. I don't want to just take like one and be done. So now I'm going to move into my savory notes. So like my garlic and my onions, no particular order. I started using the roasted garlic powder, and it just has like a really great extra depth. It's like a nutty, it's garlic, but it's that roasted, it's like that cooked garlic. Right before, if you were cooking it in a saute pan, right before it starts to burn. But you don't want it to burn because you don't want that bitter taste. Do I have one that's open already? Oh, I do. I knew I did. And then just regular garlic powder. I don't go too heavy with the garlic powder. Just a very light dusting because this will burn. We're going to be cooking at such a low temperature. Really isn't an issue, but I feel like sometimes, especially spare ribs, because technology, you're cooking spare ribs at a longer time than like a baby back. Baby back, you can cook those in 3 or 4 hours, so they're delicious. Spare ribs have a lot more connective tissue, cartilage, fat interlayered through this, especially like through the end, because it's actually the bottom part of the hog where the belly begins. So all that has to be broken down. So they do take longer. You have to plan for, longer cook. That's why I tend to just kind of stay away from putting too much garlic on. So over time, it does continue to cook and caramelize. And just sometimes I feel like I can taste the garlic, and I don't want to taste any one thing. I want to taste smoky pork goodness. All right, so I have my onion, my garlic, my salt, my pepper. Now I'm going to move into like my earth spices, I guess you could say, my earthiness tones. I do put, this is a weird one, but I put cinnamon, just a very light sprinkling of ground cinnamon. And I just want to hit it very lightly. And if this looks like clumped, don't worry, we're going to rub it all in. So it's going to get spread out. Just a very light sprinkling. it just adds that like, what is that? That like little warm note, especially to pork. Don't do that on beef ribs, but I like beef to just taste like salt and pepper. This was just chili powder, ground chili powder, light dusting because I'm going to have more spices later. Smoked paprika. I like the smoked because the regular paprika really doesn't have a flavor. It's just color. It's ground up red peppers, like the skins and everything. But this adds color, but it also adds, don't worry about that, we're going to spread it all out. Come on. It's so full it won't come out. There we go. Adds a little smoky undertones to it. Okay, so savory notes. Oh, I do like to put a little bit of chipotle chili powder too. Just a little. Again, we're building flavor. I don't like to have any one type of pepper, any one type of spice, because you want it to, you know, round out by the end, and it's perfect. Delicious. Okay. This is very, very dangerous. I think I've had this for like 2 or 3 years, and I'm only halfway through, and I only take a pinch at a time. This is dried honey. It's very coarse. You can see, like, it's very, very coarse, but it has ground habanero smashed all in there with it. So it's sweet and it's spicy, and you don't, when you're eating it, you really, you know, you don't know that it's there. You're like, this is like a sweet spicy, because everything's sweet and spicy. But I always notice when I leave it off. So it's just got that extra, again, depth of flavor that, you know, you miss it when it's not there. So it needs to be there. Okay, curveball, a little bit of curry powder. Just a little. I just want to see it. I do have a recipe for curry ribs, which is predominantly all curry, but it's very, very good. Minced onion. And these will rehydrate. I know it looks like a lot. We're going to spread it out. These will rehydrate because these are going to make their own juice. I don't use a mop or a barbecue sauce, nothing. These will be juicy, and they'll make their own. They'll make their own sauce. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I think we're ready to, and I'm just kind of like mixing it, get it between the bones. Get on the edges. This like striation here, this has been trimmed off. This is where the rib meets like the diaphragm area. I like it when the butcher leaves it on because I cook that and then it's my snack, but the butcher had already trimmed them off. Okay, so I'm just gonna rub this in. You can use hot sauce. Mustard is a very popular one. You can spritz pickle juice, water, or honestly, if you just rub it in, it'll stick. It'll stick. You'll have a little bit of runoff, like where the bone is sticking out. Nothing's gonna stick to that. You know, you're not gonna get anything. But into the meat, you push it and you rub it in. You don't really need a glue, but I will tell you, I use mustard on my baby backs because they have a shorter cook time, and I like a bigger bark. These are gonna cook in the smoker for so long that they're going to have a nice dark crust on them. So they don't need any help, I guess is what I'm saying. Mustard, there is vinegar in it. It definitely makes it more tender. Again, that's why I use it on baby backs. They don't take as long to cook. So I like a little bit darker crust. These are going to get dark all on their own because I'm cooking on a wood offset burner. My Yoder is a stick burner. That means it has a live fire on the side, and it sucks the smoke in the air across the chamber. So now we're gonna rinse and repeat. Not rinse my hands, but we're gonna repeat. And I'm systematic. Just a nerd like that. And I like to do everything in order. That way I know I haven't forgotten anything. So, celery salt. Again, I want to be able to see it. Let's get started here. Oh no, am I almost out? Oh no. I want to be able to see it. I don't think the camera could pick this up, but I want an even dusting Put that on the list of things to get. And then I go for my regular kosher salt. And again, I want to be able to see it. I'm not going really thick. When you see that on TV, they're usually doing some sort of a competition, and the judges, they only get one rib to evaluate. So if it's not salted, if it's not peppered, have a depth of flavor, they're gonna get, not. So pepper, peppers, and again, I want to see it, but I still want to see the meat come through. And you can always add, but you can't subtract. And what I mean by that is, I am going to cook these for probably about 4 hours. They're going to get to the color I like. Depends on the humidity and everything else. And then I'm going to wrap them. And when I wrap them, I hit it with a little bit more seasoning. But I do, I'll taste like a little piece. I'll put my finger on it. I'll give it kind of like a measure of how much salt, pepper, spice, where I need to adjust. And then I can adjust that when I wrap. And then when I unwrap, because it'll be really juicy, these will be very, very wet, then I can taste it again and see, okay, can I adjust some more? But if I am just pounding it with salt, pepper, garlic, whatever, and if that flavor concentrates, if it doesn't cook off, I can't take it off, you know what I mean? So I'd rather build over the hours that this is going to cook. By the time it's done, it's perfect. And, if I bang it out, over the head with too much of one thing too early, I can't take it off. So that's just my thinking. All right, let's go some garlic. I did mention I was going to wrap. I'm thinking about it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So the purpose of wrapping has a lot of reasons. If you're in a hurry, wrapped food cooks faster. I'm going with my roasted garlic. Whoa. It will soften the meat quicker, break everything down faster. So, you can shorten it by a couple of hours, which can save you time. Sorry. Oh, my princess is here. That's one reason to wrap. Second reason to wrap is if the color of your meat is dark enough to your liking, this is onion powder, you'll want to wrap because you don't want it to over smoke. You don't, because smoke is an ingredient too. So you don't want it to go too far. Wrapping it blocks the smoke. Easy fix. My cinnamon. And wrapping, here we go, just a very light. This will just hit the tongue and be like, whoa, what is that? That little nutty sweetness in there. I'm gonna go in with my peppers. So wrapping has a purpose. It can save you time. It can save your color and break down the meat faster, giving you a softer product. And again, all preference. Like some people like fall off the bone ribs. I do not. I like to chew my food. I don't like it to be baby food. So it's all about what you like. Just a little bit. Again, we can always add. We can't subtract. And so wrapping can help, somebody that, needs help in controlling color, controlling texture, or controlling the time amount that it needs to cook. Now, the last weekend I made 2 racks of ribs. I made put some sausages out there, everything. I just let it go. So they were cooked naked is what that's called, where you don't wrap. And the color was beautiful. I just had a really good cook, perfect humidity. The wind wasn't blowing. My fire was consistent the whole time. And it just slowly developed this red, brown, golden color. And I didn't wrap at all. I was going to wrap them. I was ready. I had my foil and everything. And I'm looking at them. I'm like, I did the half pickup with the tongs, and you pick them up halfway, and they were doing a nice 45-degree flop, not over flop. They didn't break, but they were nice and soft, and the color was beautiful. I'm like, no wrapping today. So you never every cook is different. Every piece of meat is different. I've had some ribs or shoulders or briskets. You get this, I could try to get the same amount, every time, but it's a different animal and it's working muscles. Maybe it's a lazier pig or a lazier cow or whatever. Sometimes they're softer, sometimes they're more working. Oh, put that over there so I don't forget. See, I put everything over there so I don't double it up. And a little bit of chili powder. So your cook time will be different. Everything is a variable. It is not an exact. That's why it's hard to get it right. I've been barbecuing for 20 years easily. I mean, when I was a kid with my dad, but on my own, 20 years on my own, and I'm still learning. So, okay, so now I have everything, and I'm just kind of evening out any pockets. I did a lot better job on this side. Talking on the camera and doing this, it's talent. It's not easy. So I just want to press it again into the bone. There's more meat on this side than there was on the other side. So I'm really just taking advantage of that. I just want to press it in. And, the fall between, that's why I like seasoning everything at once, like whatever you're going to cook. If you have 3 racks of ribs, if you have 2 chickens, whatever, put them all on at once. That way they are sharing the space and get those edges done, and you're not wasting too much. Right, Reagan? We hate that. Okay, Reagan, good job. You scared him off. Okay, so. All right, and now during this time, my fire's been started. It's in the chimney. Even though it's a stick burner, I always start it with charcoal. It just has a much longer last, the coals do. And it's the way that I start. You can totally start with all wood. But in the initial 45 minutes, I'm trying to warm up the pit. It's a, 500-pound, iron vessel. So all that metal has to get hot. So it's going to take 45 minutes or so before my chambers and everything are even ready to, begin. And I think, well, why do I want to waste wood heat on heating up my cooker? So that's why I also start with charcoal. Charcoal is inexpensive. It lasts way longer than wood does. And then I switch to all wood. So that's just me. And again, another variable, your cooker. Every cooker is different. Every style, whether you're using like an Oklahoma Joe, like something that you pick up at a big box store. Weber kettles make fabulous smokers. You just make your fire to one side. I mean, I've produced some of the best pork shoulder in my life on a Weber kettle, on a 22-inch. But everything is a variable, and I think that's actually kind of the fun, because unless you're on a, what are they called, a pellet pooper, what are they called? Pellet smokers. Those really are set and forget it. They're pretty direct. You put in your wood, you hit the button, you want it to stay. It has fans and electricity. It's really a great product for like foolproof. But I like to fuss around. I like to work a little bit more, I guess, at my barbecue. And so I find that's like the challenge, and some people may say, wait a minute, you're challenging yourself on people's food and stuff. And it does sound a little weird, I guess. But anyone who barbecues on like real fire and stuff like that You do it not because you know love the agony of defeat. It's because you love the challenge, I think. So, and I've been defeated a few times, but I digress. So these are going to go on the Yoder, but they're going to hang out right now. Oh, they're really not done. I had to add my sweetener. So this is going to get a coating of brown sugar, but I just want the salts and everything to like pull out some of the moisture first. You can put your sugar on now. I usually do. I just didn't right now because I forgot. But it will make kind of like a syrupy wet mess, and that's what you want. They'll be nice and glossy. I put a pretty good amount. I'll just show you now. I'll just do both. About that. Just brown sugar. Okay, nothing special. You can do dark. You can do the extra dark. The only difference is that there's more. Let's see if I have any extra dark. There's more molasses, and I love the molasses flavor. I think it adds to pork, especially. It brings that sweet element that I think that you're looking for. Oh my God, I can never open this. Oh my God. All right. But I'm all out of dark brown sugar, so it is light brown sugar for me today. And this I always put this on last. Okay. And this will make a sweet crust. And really all of our ingredients were savory, salty, and spicy. And if you want to stop there, that's more like a Texas style. You know, they don't really eat a lot of pork, but that's their flavor profile is just salt, pepper, and onion. You know, they're very, very, and peppers, you know, like whatever, you know, habaneros and things like that, which I love that profile, especially for beef. But on my pork, I like it a little sweeter. So just a nice dusting. And you'll see that this is a lot more than the salt. This will caramelize and make a beautiful bark. And we're only going to be cooking at like 250. My cooker runs a little hot. So sometimes it gets up to 300, but I can also control that with where I place my ribs on my grates. So if I see that it's not getting enough smoke, I just go to the top grate. I'm usually pretty far away from the firebox. I don't want to get a sear on these. And keeping it nice and slow and low, your sugar will not burn, okay? If you were cooking it really fast or you had, you know, a higher temperature, if you go into the 300s, that will burn and not taste so good. So this is my prep, pretty straightforward. And if I remember, I will come back and we'll put them on the pit. I had to go dump my fire in the firebox. If anyone's watching, thanks, and we'll see you later.